Hi everyone. We'll just give few seconds. People are joining. Thank you. Okay. So hello audience. This is Priya from Arna Networks. Thank you for taking your time out and being here with us today. We are back with our knowledge sharing session. Today we will demonstrate 5G core NSS-MF architecture and integration with ONAP. We would love to hear your queries. However, it would be best if you can keep all your queries for the QA round at the end of the webinar. Pop in all your questions in the message box. And if you miss anything, don't worry, we will be sending on recording on demand. Let us not delay and start the session. I will introduce our presenter today and also want to inform you that we have Rajendra in the panelist who will help us with all your queries. Hi, Yogendra. Hi, Rajendra. So hi, I will let me introduce Yogendra. Yogendra is the senior MTS at Arna Networks, technologist in security domain and network infrastructure. Currently working on the 5G network slicing aspects, contributed to IETF and authored and co-authored RFC 5448-8213. So hi, Yogen, will you take it from here?
Yeah, Priya, sure.
Yeah, thank you.
Okay, welcome everyone. Like the agenda of the today's session is primarily to go over core NSS-MF architecture, and just to connect the previous dots, right? In case folks have not seen our previous demos, there is a link out there which tells about ONAP and Cape Gemini commercial 5G core and the Column UPF integration. Link is there. Feel free to go over it and see the demo. However, in case you have missed it, also no problem. We would be covering some of the important aspects of that in this presentation, and you will be able to connect those dots as well. So in the agenda, we are primarily going to focus on the architecture and then how the NSMF architecture is integrated with the ONAP today. And we're going to show the demo of this thing and a couple of important questions we are going to take at the end of the session. At any point of time you have any questions, please note it down, and maybe at the end we can take up all those questions. And we have RP Rajendra Prasad, so he's going to help us in terms of any questions in the chat window in the parallel in case. So let's get started. So this slide, this is a very important slide from ONAP perspective, where ONAPS has given us the various architecture options today in order to manage the slices, and with respect to various deployment options can be possible. So there is a few terminologies we need to understand, because that will bring us all into the same page and understanding of that. And then we'll talk about what are the various options which we see here on the screen. As everybody would be familiar with OSS and BSS, so that is I'm keeping it aside. I would like to talk about the CSMF from the ONAP perspective. So CSMF is one of the component which is responsible for translating your communication service requirement to your network slice requirements. And it is primarily also responsible for your interaction with your OSS and BSS, like how you see it in the diagram there, and also to communicate with your NSMF, which is your network slice management function. And then you look at NSMF, which is also another internal component of the ONAP, which is primarily responsible for the management and orchestration of your network slice instance, and derive out all your network slice subnet instance requirements, which translated from your, from CSMF to NSMF and from NSMF to NSSMF, and responsible for communicating with your NSSMF. So in ONAP, there is a thought has been given with respect to NSMF communicating with your NSSMF via two means. One is internal call, other one is via the standard API calls. So when we say the internal components, basically your CSMF and NSMF and NSSMF, all the three components can be internal to ONAP. And in some cases, some of the components can be a third-party component. And based on that, the various architecture choices comes up automatically. So if we take the situation where CSMF and NSMF are coming from ONAP, and if you have to integrate the CSMF with OSS BSS through a standard APIs like TMF API in the architecture 4, here if you look at it, right? So you have the option of TMF 641 API available from the CSMF side to interact with OSS and BSS for integration. And similarly, you also have the standard APIs available for in the architecture 1, where all the three components are coming as internal to ONAP. Okay, as you see in the drawing, there are dark blue colors. Ones are representation of the third-party components, which may come from your legacy system or newly developed systems. And the standard APIs which you look at here, basically like NSMF talking to NSSMF, right? The standard APIs are basically your 3GPP APIs, which comes from your 28531, and which tells in terms of what REST APIs are exposed, which should be integrated with NSMF in order to receive the request for the slice management. So in total, there are 5 architecture, and our demo later in the presentation is capturing the architecture 4. Okay. One additional thing which I wanted to talk about is the NSSMF, because that's the main objective of this session today. It's responsible for your management and orchestration of your NSSI, basically your network slice subnet instance. So basically that's the main thing which is going to translate into your network functions in terms of provisioning your slicing configurations. Moving forward to this slide, where so this slide is primarily covering your slice creation integration flow with ONAP. So like I was mentioning just now, the CSMF component and NSMF component. So these two components are part of our runtime component of ONAP called SO, service orchestration. And there is a component called UUI, use case UI, which basically is providing you the means of ordering a slice, and it constitutes internally CSMF and NSMF portal from which you can perform the various action attached towards the slice lifecycle. And same goes with ANDI. So ANDI is responsible with respect to slice in the terms of managing your service instance, your service profile, and the various NST, which is your network slice templates, and the network slice instance and slice profiles. So these are the various inventory element which sits in your ANDI. And if we zoom in into the OOF and the policy, which is your automation framework from ONAP, right? So these components are participating in your slice profile determination when we try to create a slice, and they participate in your network slice template selection and your network slice instance selection, and at your almost at your NSSI selection, along with your resource allocation planning. So basically OOF and the policy are playing a major role in terms of selecting the right appropriate selections of the templates and the NSSI instance. And similarly, there are corresponding policy elements for these respective parameters like of CSMF, NSMF, and NSSMF. So those policy elements are present in the policy component of it. So policy also contains other policy parameters related to KPI monitoring and closed loop policy, closed loop stuff. which we are not covering in this session, but just to bring everybody on the same page. And then our main focus is on core NSSMF, which is participating with all these components of ONAP in terms of allocating your network slice subnet instance. And finally, from here, you will see all the communication between the core NSSMF with your core network with respect to provisioning your slice. So just to quickly glance over, from 1 to 6 is coming under the umbrella of ONAP, and the step number 7 is the one primarily which will bring communication of the SO component of NSSMF with your core NSSMF. Okay. Just to connect all the dots. So what we're going to do it is, even in the demo, we'll see that we're going to order a service parameters with respect to the slice, right? And your CSMF will take that and translate into your basically into your network slice management requirements. And it will also update your ANDI corresponding to the network slice identifier. So your NSSAI is the one who is responsible to identify your network slice. And then as it creates an SSAI value, it also updates your, it also updates and checks with the OOF with respect to which service profile and NST recommendations we need to pick for this corresponding slice creation, which is happening in the step number 2. And as you get the feedback from there, you will allocate an NST and the service profile. And that is what is translated into your basically network slice management information, which will translate further down into decomposed into 3 network domains, which is your core, transport, and the RAN. Right. So you will get all the recommendation here by OF, and then actually once you get the recommendation, you will create a network slice instance for it. And this is what is updated in the runtime ANDI. From here, the call translates from NSMF to your core NSSMF by providing you with the subnet parameters for the network slicing. Right? We'll see what does it constitute of in the demo. Okay. So going to the a bigger view of how the integration will look like, right? So on our left hand side, we have ONAP with various components of it, right, which constitute of your use case UI, external API, SO, OF, ANDI, SDC for creating all your templates, communication service template, network service template, and network subnet related templates, and then various other components which are participating, SDNC for the RAN specific and the transport specific, and then CDS for your config core network function configuration, and OF for the various templates and the recommendation like what we mentioned in the previous slide. Right, so ONAP is pretty much, this is how it's going to look like. But when it talks with your core NSSMF, right, they need an interaction, and that interaction is what we has been mentioned in this step. So step number 7 is the point where it's going to interact with. So we'll show you what are the REST APIs being exposed from the core NSSMF side, so that your ONAP SO component can talk and provision the various slice events. Okay, we'll talk about each of this element in the next slide. And there is also the core network represented here to just indicate that once the slice creation event happens from step number 1 to all the way to 7. So there is a core network configuration manager which is responsible to provision the slice to your core network, and your core network constitute of your control plane and the data plane elements. So in most of the cases, you will have your configurations will be provisioned to your control plane and to your data plane both. So this slides primarily gives you the high level integration point, and we'll see how it actually translates further. So now looking at purely the architecture perspective, right? So like I was mentioning, so CSMF and NSMF are responsible for your communication service and translating into a network slice service, right? And then translating into a slice, which is your subnet slice corresponding to your core network. So let's zoom this out and see what is our architecture. So if you look at it, what we have done is our core network NSSMF architecture constitute of an outbound API, component, which exposes a bunch of APIs. In the next slide, I'll show you all the five interfaces APIs, which is exposed towards the SO, and you can register the whole core NSSMF with the own app itself. And from that registration, you would be able to receive the request and perform the actions. So this is your northbound interface. And when you get a request from your SO component, there is a component which we have written. It's called model validator. So what it does is, when you get a request, we validate that request in terms of what parameters you can expect coming from the SO. So if your parameters are matching to the expectation of the model, you will honor it. Otherwise, you'll drop that request. Right. So that's the first layer of the architecture. Once your request has made it through, what we have done is, there is a network slice subnet manager component which does two tasks. One is it determines what it needs to do in terms of this request. First one is, it can decide whether this request we need to honor it in an asynchronous flow, or we need to honor it in a synchronous flow. So when we say synchronous flow, which means we get a request, we inline perform the configuration with our network functions in the core, and then send back a response back, which practically is not a scalable solution, because you will block the management solution for one event to complete. Right? So the idea is you should have a notion of async flow. So we have made both the functionality available in our NSS manager. So in our demo also, we have the async flow available today. So what will happen is, once you get a request, we send back a job ID back to the SO component, and we tell them HTTP status as 202. And now what happens is, once you send back the response, the SO component can query the job ID to know what is the status of it. And based on that, he can do multiple queries and determine that what is the state of the previous request which was honored. Now that will unblock the SO component to do other activities, which may be maybe just another slice creation for the another instance of it, right? So that can work well. So that's the target, that's the idea behind the NSS manager. Now, once you get the response, what we do is, there is two infrastructure components we have built. One is called egress manager, and another one is called ingress manager. So egress manager is primarily meant to enqueue all the requests coming from the NSS manager. And then from there, what we do is, we have a forwarder component which takes up the request from this queue and send it to the ingress manager, wherein the ingress manager is responsible to receive that event and then process the event. So these process events are primarily your the 4 events or the 5 events which we can expect in terms of allocate NSSAI, or activate NSSAI, or deactivate NSSAI, right? Or the deallocate or terminate the network slice itself, right? So these are the 4 events which we can expect all the way from SO component, right? So what we do is, only the job status part is remained by the NSS manager, which will is internally managed, so he knows it whether the job status has been completed or not, right? And then the same query response, it will send it back all the way to SO component. So the egress is responsible for sending it out, and ingress is responsible for receiving that event. Now this automatically, this question comes up in the mind, why we need 2 such components, right? So the thought process behind that was, this whole core NSSMF can run as a forwarder element, which means you have this layer of NBI, you have NSS manager running, and the egress manager. Okay, only this 3 sections are part of the core NSSMF. And on another host, you may have a situation where you run the same function, same code, where you have the functionality of ingress manager and the core NSS core configuration manager sitting in. So like a distributed architecture primarily. So basically, your core NSSMF can sit closer to your own app deployment, and your same core NSSMF running as a receiver can run closer to the deployment. Can run closer to the deployment of your network function. However, in our case, we can short circuit this, and if they both of them are on closer to the deployment, they can short circuit and can send the packet within itself. So that's the idea, and then this scales well. I mean, you can run many number of this such events, and it actually scales well. Now, so after this two infrastructure components of egress and ingress, right? So the main component which performs your network slicing configuration to your network function is called as core configuration manager. So this component, basically pulls the request from the process event, and then based on what kind of event it is, right, and kind of network function which is registered underneath with the core network configuration manager, it will perform either the REST API calls or the netconf API calls. So if you see in the previous slide here, right, our network deployment can be a hybrid, in which case some of the network functions can be your CNFs, and some of your network functions can be PNF. So your UPF can be a physical device, right, and your UPF and your rest of the control plane elements can be your CNF, right? So in case of CNF, one would have the REST API calls to perform it, and for the PNF, you may have the netconf to participate and then communicate with the UPF or the PNF devices, right? So we have both the functionality available here, and based on the event type, you decide what kind of devices are underneath are registered, and then based on that you make the appropriate call. So if you look at here, right, so core configuration manager is very much generic here. It knows about all the 4 different types of events and the respective generic abstraction of the REST and the netconf. Now, suppose if you have to extend the same core NSSMF to a RAN NSSMF, all you need to do is, only the configuration content will change, but the infrastructure will remain the same, right? Just think of another blue blocks parallelly behind the same, which is doing the RAN configuration management role, right? So it's going to scale, and then similarly you can do it for a transport network also. So same idea is, that this whole architecture remains independent of, whether it has to be specific to core or RAN or not. So we have not done the sticky binding, but we have thought through the architecture to keep it as much as generic, and then define it the objects in such a way that you can scale this architecture to your RAN or to transport as well. So that was a thought process behind it. So also, if you see, I have marked here, if somebody wants to do the synchronous flow, in which case they can bypass the egress communication path, and all the way from synchronous flow, you can directly talk to the process event, and you will directly end up in the step number 6 here, right? Okay, so like I was mentioning, the Northbound interface, what has been provided to SO to communicate, right? So there are 5 operations from the slice event perspective. So one is the allocation of the slice. So you can do an HTTP post, and slice domain bin is the core network, and this is the URI bin provided. So if you look at the 3GPP spec, right, for 28531, you will see that NSS/slice profile is the suffix which is being used in terms of the provider to define that, right? And this can be specific as object management part. So once you implement this URI in your code, you should be able to receive an allocate event of the network slicing from the service orchestrator of the ONAP. Okay, and this is a post event. Now, once you have finished with the allocation of your event, you can do the next action, which is activate NSSAI, which is a put operation. And then in the put operation, the URI which you want to exercise is your NSS with this NSSAI list here. So basically here you're specifying the slice identifier which you need to activate. So one point which you would, if you go back and look at 3GPP spec, right, you may not find this URI present there. However, community has provided voluntarily to extend and give this benefit, because primarily from 3GPP perspective, there is allocate is there and deallocate is there. However, there can be deployments where you wanted to control your allocation by an activate and a deactivate operations, right? So there are two put operations has been provided exactly with the same URI with a suffix as activation and deactivation. Okay, and then comes your deallocating, which is your terminating of your slice. You can do a delete operation, HTTP delete operation, and then you can specify the slice profile which is identified here. So this is a slice profile which you have sent at the creation time. You need to specify that, and in the slice profile, because slice profiles can be many, so you need to be specific there. So as part of that, under the many slice profiles, you will specify this slice profile ID specifically. I'll tell you the which ID is that exactly when in the demo I'll show. And then you have the get job status. So this is the one which I was telling, when you allocate a slice, for example, right, and we take the asynchronous flow, right? If I take the asynchronous flow, in which case I get a request, I tell ONAP SO component, hey, we have created a job, and through the job you can query and know what is the status of that request. So right, so job ID we send it back, right? So this job ID is what you can specify again from the ONAP component, and you can fetch the status of it. So this is very important function from the ONAP perspective. So you need to implement this, and this will make your program as also more scalable and asynchronous. Otherwise, you may end up always doing the synchronous flow of it. So in fact, in the next slide I will show you the body of this also. So yeah, so this is the source code which we have it in our core NSSMF, and this is the body which we expect as a job status, get job status. If you see here, one of the important things why I highlighted this in the orange color is to indicate that the response descriptor should constitute of these three parameters. Only then the ONAP SO component realizes and honors it. If your parameters are not matching to this, then probably you will run up into troubleshooting. So these three parameters are the must, and that's the reason I have highlighted. If somebody wants to go ahead and implement its own core NSSMF, maybe this snippet will help them in terms of performing the get job status. Right, so this progress value can be 10%, 20%, or 50%, or 100%, based on how the underneath network functions are getting provisioned and what stage they are. Right? So this is what you need to keep reflecting it. Okay, so now you have the understanding of the northbound interface available from the core NSSMF to your SO. Now, once you have your core NSSMF available with you, you need to register that with the ONAP. Only then you can actually perform the various operations. So in ONAP, there is a notion of for external component to register with ONAP, that is through the ESR, so external system registry, that is. So how do you register and what are the steps involved there, right? So in order to facilitate that, I have captured here. So what you need to do is you need to create a placeholder for your resource first of all. So in this example, I have taken an ID like dummy ID 1 2 3 4 5, and I perform a curl operation, and then I specify I specify this at the end of here, right? And this is how the curl command will look like. And once you do that, your placeholder is created for that resource ID. Now for this resource ID, you need to fill the resource details also, which is just step number 2, which is a put operation. You need to do it, and then you need to fill the payload of it. So this is the payload which is indicating the kind of resource the core NSSMF will be. So we are saying that maybe system name is an end-to-end. We're telling type is a core network. So this value for the transport network will be TN, and for the access network it will be AN. So, and these are the hard-coded value in the ONAP. So this is how they understand which NSSMF component is registering with the ESR, and then correspondingly the SO component will read this ESR information, and then it will call the respective northbound interface API, which we just saw in the previous slide. Okay, and then this core NSSMF itself is running on the which IP and the which port has been exposed to communicate with the SO. So that details you need to pass, and other parameters like if you wanted to have the support of authentication also, then you can specify the username and the password which you will be using it in order to authenticate the request coming towards it. Okay, so once you register here, it's best way to go back and validate whether registration is reflecting or not. So here in the next slide, we are showing up how do you validate it. So there is a step, you can do a curl command again, specifying your resource ID, right? And once you pass this get operation, you will get an output back like this if it is successfully registered. So you will see that what you've provided it in the step number 2 and step number 3 is matching with your content. So this way, your core NSSMF is now registered with ONAP, right? Okay, so next we'll go and see the demo now. Okay, let me show you quickly what is the setup of the demo looks like, right? So we have ONAP running in the K8 cluster where your CSMF and NSMF is there, and we'll be ordering a slice. The slice is going to get created from use case UI from the respective portal of CSMF and NSMF and translate into the SO, or from the SO it will come and talk to the core NSSMF. Now you know this interface, right? The 4 interface APIs we showed it to you. That's the interface, and from here we're going to do a RESTconf or a netconf call to the 5G core component. In our case, it is a Capgemini 5G core, which is Altran, and the UPF, which is our netconf PNF. Okay, and these are running in a OpenShift CRC cluster. So let me take you to the demo. Since it is an OpenShift cluster, so you see the OC command there, OC get pods. We are just trying to list down what all the running pods are there. You will see various network functions there, all the control plane functions and the data plane functions also, right? And what I'm going to do is I'm going to fetch immediately what is being configured as a day 0 configuration in the core network. And if you see, I did a get operation. And when I did a get operation, I get configured NSSAI in the PLM area, right? So in configured NSSAI list has 3 already slices, which is your SST1. SST1 is the value of EMBB, which means you identify a EMBB using a service and a service differentiator value, which tells that given a EMBB, if you want to differentiate between the 2 slices, you can change the SD value, right? And even though your SST value can remain same. So there are 3 different slice configurations are present, which has SD value 1 and 19CDE1, 2, and 3. And these are all 3 are attached under the PLM area, where mobile country code is 987 and operator code is 654. Right. And you will see later, once we create a slice, we'll add the 4th slice in this configuration list through the RESTconf call. Okay, I'm going to start the RAN simulator for the demo. Okay. And also I'm going to start our core NSSMF function, which we have, the program which we wrote. This one, the first one is going to run in a forwarder mode, which means, like I was mentioning, your egress manager is present. And the next screen where you will see, we are going to run it in a receiver mode. So this is running in a forwarder mode. Here you can see core NSSMF plus forwarder role. Okay. And here this is the, when we mentioned the receive mode equal to 1, we are running in a receiver mode, the same code. Okay. Yeah, you can see core NSSMF is running in a receiver mode. So I'll just go through all the 3 windows once, and then we'll go to use case UI to create the slices. This is ONAP portal, regular. Yeah, so you are in use case UI. You can see the 5G slice management. There is an option, and you'll see, this is a communication service. This is your slice task management and the slice resource management, right? So like I was mentioning in the initial slides, you have CSMF, you have NSMF, right? So CSMF portal is basically is this one, and your NSMF portal is nothing but a slice task management and slicing resource management. And here is the option to create the slice. You press that and you can see various parameters which you can provide as part of slice creation. We'll go in filling in all those details in a moment. So I have created a bunch of earlier slices also, which that's why you will see a lot of them there. Now we're going to create a new slice 201. We can specify how many UEs will be attached to the slice. So we took 100, and then we are selecting the data rate corresponding to this slice we are expecting as a characteristics and the latency attached to it. And the most important is what kind of the slice would be. It's going to be shared slice or it will be a non-shared slice, right? So in our case, we are picking up as non-shared, and we're selecting mobility as a stationary, which means all the 100 user equipments which are going to connect with the slice will be stationary. They won't be in the roaming, and they fall under the tracking area here, which is here in the Beijing is the option we have selected, right? So once you press OK, this will translate your CSMF activity, and CSMF will translate from here to a NSMF action item. It will translate into NSMF requirement. Now you can see here, a service instance has been created, which has name slice 201, and the status is in processing. Now the task is slice 201, then this is the identifier. Yeah, just I would take your attention here. So because this is the value which will provision in the Altran at the later, you'll see 01 49 49 F2. This is the NSSCI value which we are going to provision because this is the slice ID which is getting created, and it is of type EMBB. Service type is EMBB here, and status is in planning. So here is what it will translate from planning to waiting to confirm. When it moves to waiting to confirm, there is a user interaction is required in terms of defining the characteristics for the access network, transport network, and the core network. We'll see it immediately now. Yeah, you can see now slice 201 is in wait to confirm. Now you have to go ahead and press process task, and it will detail you the configurations which you have done it in the CSMF part. The business requirement information what you filled in earlier is visible here, right? And then there is a when we see the screen, basically your communication with your ANDI, OOF, and the policy has already happened, and the result has come back and it is reflecting in the screen. If you could find a matching NSAI or network slice instance is already there, and if it is matching, you will see that available here. If it is not there, so which means you are creating for the first time there. Right? And then your access network, AN is your stands for access network here, and transport network and the core network. And you need to define now the characteristics of your respective NSSI, which we'll see now. So for the given NSSCI, we are selecting as a non-shared, and we are filling the max number of a PDU session, and your user uplink and downlink characteristics, what we are planning, and then for the regional area where this is going to happen, what traffic we are expecting in terms of the Mbps per kilometer. And then we are giving a script name if you wanted to run any prescripts, and the corresponding endpoint. So these endpoints can be primarily your backhaul connectivity, or it can be your mid-haul connectivity information based on what transport domain you're exercising it. So in previous case, it was access network. So access network would be communicating to your backhaul and to your front haul both. Right? And similarly, we need to do it for the other domain also, the core network. So these are core network parameter now. So once you press OK, it will translate into allocate event. And we'll see that allocate event is received by our core NSSMF receiver in the background. The 2 tasks has been submitted and they are succeeded. We'll just see here the back now. Yeah, so we got that event. We'll go up. Yeah, so here we received the event allocate NSSAI. And this is the ID which I was telling you to focus on. So you got NSSAI, which is 014949F2. And this is what we're going to provision now. And like other parameters, what we filled in is received here. So like I was mentioning in the presentation earlier, right? So a slice profile ID is the one which identifies the slice. So this is the slice profile payload from here all the way to here, right? And this is the ID which uniquely identifies it. So you can have many slice profiles, and that you'll have each unique one. So this for the current slice creation which is happening, this is the ID for it. So when you delete the slice profile, you need to specify this in the deallocation process. So here, after receiving that event, what we've done is we have performed a get operation from the endpoint of the Altran to see what was there configured. So we saw there are 3 of them already there. Now we did a add operation and patch, and we got a successful response 204. And now the 4th NSSI is also provisioned in it. So if you see 4949 F2 is the one which I was mentioning. Now that is also part of your configure NSSI, and your allocation event is completed. And in this case, we use the REST conf, right? And if it is a PNF, then automatically the net conf will come into picture, and you will see the net conf provisioning happening there. Let's slightly speed up. We are short of time. So once a slice has been created, by default, it will be in the deactivated state. So you can change the state to activate, which will translate into in the backend activate NSSAI event. So there is a progress bar which tells the workflow which is happening at the back. Now you'll see here in the backend, your core NSSMF has received activate NSSAI, and in this case at least it was almost a no because we performed the allocate operation there when the allocation happened for the first time itself. However, there can be situation you wanted to have a control knob, and you enable that only at activate time. So it is activated now. We'll do a deactivation now as a next step. We're changing the status to deactivate, and we'll receive a deactivate event at the core NSSMF again. Yeah, so we previously received activate, now we received the deactivate event. Now, once your deactivation is completed, we can terminate the slice, which is nothing but your deallocation. So it is in deactivated state now. Just checking up in all the tabs, it is reflecting properly. Yeah, it is in deactivated state. Now you can go to the slice resource management and you can select terminate here. So action is terminate. When you press, it will translate into termination of the slice. Now we'll see at the back end this event received. Yeah, so we received activate, deactivate, and now we received the deallocate event. Right, in deallocate event, we got the NSSAI value, which is identifier to which NSSAI related slice you wanted to take it away. Right, so what we did is we just did a get operation, right, to know what was there already, and then we did a patch operation with the remove, which means where we're saying we wanted to remove off here 4949 F2 again from the list, and then we did again a get operation to see whether that slice configuration has been taken away or not. So you will see here it is cleaned out now. We are back to the normal with the 3 original slice of the day 0 and the 4 events corresponding to the slice is pretty much done. Now we'll show you the next part of this, where we're going to show with the columns configuration where PNF is involved and netconf is going to participate. So we are saying the same configuration what you saw previously, we're going to send it explicitly as this payload, and the column UPF is going to receive that. Okay, so this is the payload we sent, and your forwarder has received this parameters, right? And forwarder has passed this information to the receiver. And if you go up here, if you see you'll see the CN receiver is running, right? And it is going to receive the payload which has been sent from the egress manager, and ingress manager on this core network NSSMF receiver has received this payload, and it is performing the handshake, netconf handshake, and it's going to provision further down. You'll see that. So this is the payload where NSSAI is 19CDE1 and Column has received this allocate event, and this is a netconf server device, and wherein they have the virtual fabric as a means to virtualize their UPF. And this is where we are performing a network slice update operation, and we are passing SST value as 1 and SD value as 19CD1. This is what we received in the payload of the allocation, right? So you'll see we are performing an RPC call using the netconf, and we got an OK back reply, and we do just a get back again from the running configuration to see whether it is reflecting or not. And you can see here, UPF NSSAI values are updated here, and the rest of the other parameters like PFCF is already been provisioned there as a day 0 config. So this is how you can see the allocation event also went through for the PNF device. Right now, we're going to show you the PDU establishment demo, wherein like in the first demo we showed you the Ultron being provisioned with the configuration, and now we did the UPF configuration reflecting using the netconf. Now we are showing the data traffic setup, which is a PDU establishment is happening. So we are using a simulator here, which is auto simulator, which is written in the Python, and which is performing a PDU establishment session on the Ultron 5GC code. And we'll see the various statistics with respect to the session establishment using the NSSAI value which was been provisioned. So first test is action application protocol which has passed, and then PDU establishment test has passed. Now we'll see the statistics. We see that all the pods are running, nothing has been crashed, so that before running the test and after running the test, the network function are in sane state. And then we do a statistics fetch. So if you see here, Right. So yeah, so we do a fetch of AMF statistics. You see here we did a connection establishment has happened successfully, right? And then initial context setup request has come and response has come, which is matching. And the same goes with the setup request and the success. And then we perform SMF statistics. And you can see N4 session parameters are reflecting there, which is all matching to one request because one NSACI only we have provisioned it and one PD session has been created corresponding to it. And the user plane statistics with respect to PFCF is reflecting here, which is success in this case. So if you have multiple slices when you create, this statistics will be higher in the number. So this is what we had for the demo. Going back from demo, we have what next step, right? So we our plan going forward is in terms of what will be the roadmap for the slicing. So we are going forward, with performing shared slice integration as our next step, along with the RAN integration and transport integration, which the community is doing it, and that's what we're going to take it forward and try to simplify and make it as part of the AMCOP integration, and a simple workflow will be there to perform the lifecycle management of the network slicing. So this is the thought process we are going as the next steps. Priya, you want to take the talk about the next one, the future event?
Yeah, before that, should we just have, because a lot of people are messaging me on the question answer round.
Sure. Let's go ahead.
Yeah, a lot of questions have come. Thank you so much, audience. The first query which has come is CSMF also will be come from SO, or it will come from the provision layer?
So
hi Priya.
Yeah.
So let me answer that. I tried posting it on the chat also. So the CSMF is like a part of the SO component in ONAP. So we have the UUI, which basically takes up the all the parameters for creating the slices, and then from there, like the information will flow over to the SO, and SO will basically encompass the CSMF functions that are specified in the standards.
Okay, thanks. The next one is what other southbound protocols are supported?
Can you slightly elaborate that question? Is that the only part?
Yeah,
I think the question is like, based on our NSMF, what else is what all APIs do we support? So right now, I think it is all REST APIs that we are supporting. And in terms of like, what all is supported, it will be primarily like all these allocate, deallocate, and slice level functions that are there. So currently that is what we are supporting from the NSSMF that we have.
Right, correct. I mean, if the interface towards the ONAP SO, yeah, definitely like what RP mentioned is those are the REST interfaces. And towards the southbound, it will depend upon your your network functions are basically is it a PNF based or a CNF based, right? So correspondingly, RESTConf or the NetConf will participate into it.
Okay. So the next is external NSSMF is from Altran as well.
So in our case, we have established that, we have built that, and then we have exercised with the commercial 5G, which is Altran 5GC in this case.
Okay, so a lot of questions are coming. Yeah, where do you manage IP addresses?
So okay, this also looks to me half part of the question. So there is so let me take two parts of it. One is if you're registering with your core NSSMF with your own app, then the ESR was the mechanism through which you need to register your component in the own app. If the question is towards in the southbound, which means your network functions are are there many of them, so basically you need to register that core NSSMF and the NFs with it, right? So basically we would need registration mechanism in your core NSSMF itself, basically onboarding of them, right? So that you are aware of which all your PNFs or CNFs are there, and when a slice creation happens, upfront which IP addresses are those. right? So that is with respect to the communication between them. However, if they are network for the PDU establishment, there are a bunch of IP addresses which have been provided, right, to UPF. Those are coming as part of your day zero configuration, or yeah, day zero configuration primarily, where you define all the other parameters.
Okay. Okay, there are a lot of questions coming. In case we can't complete the round, maybe we can email it to them. Just letting everyone know. The next is, how does the slice order get translated to slice templates?
Okay, slice order to, okay. So basically, ONAP has a notion of modeling, right? So in SDC, you have to upfront define that template, and the template will dictate what all various attributes and the parameters are going to be there. And in those templates, you can define some default values, and also you can define some of the user values which you can expect, right? So that is part of your design time SDC in the ONAP. Now, once you create a slice as part of your use case UI, which is nothing but your CSMF and NSMF portal, like what we showed it in the use case UI, right? We were filling up the access network and transport network and the core network parameters, right? And the CSMF parameter. So those parameters are taken and used to fetch the appropriate network slice instance by the means of your OOF and policy. Which is where they actually go and fetch what is the appropriate matching templates are, and when you created the SDC templates for the respective components, right, those all went and were sitting with the OOF and the ANDI. So when we created the slice, right, from use case UI, so the SO component will go and interact with the ANDI and OOF to fetch the appropriate templates, and the corresponding instances they're going to create it as a runtime.
Okay, we have another 2 minutes. Can we also see the Python script, what it contains? Whether we'll have time, Yogin?
That is pretty much a lot of code there. Maybe we can discuss with Shriram and then decide how much we can share that.
Yes. Okay. How would you determine whether it needs to create a slice in the same network functions or need to initiate a new network function? Right.
So this is an interesting question. So like I was mentioning earlier, when we went from waiting to confirm state, right? From processing to waiting to confirm in the use case UI, right? So I was mentioning that if you already have a matching in network slice instance, then you will automatically, you'll see in dropdown one of the NSIs are present. If it is not there, which means you're creating for first time. And that is a means to fill in the parameters and then proceed forward. If it is already there, you can reuse that. So which means OOF and ANDI has figured out that there was already a matching slice matching to the criteria of the service request, and that can meet the requirement. And also when you create the slice request, right, from CSMF, you have mentioned what kind of you wanted. You wanted a shade or a non-shade, right? So if it is shade only, in that case, you will fetch back a matching one. If it is a non-shade, you may not find a matching one. So you will create first time that. And then automatically in the orchestration, you would create for a non-shade slice all the network functions as a separate instance, not the shade one.
Okay, thanks. I think a lot of questions, but we are a little short of time. Yogan, let's do one thing. Let me give email ID to them. It's already 8:30.
Sure, it makes sense.
So I'm just like, Yogan, we'll go to the next slide and so that people can note down the email IDs.
This one you want to talk about the future event?
Okay, we are coming up on 26 July on complete network data analytics function and non-real-time RIG solution. We'll be having a demo. Please join us. And Yogan, we'll just go to the next slide.
Yeah.
Audiences, thank you so much. There were a lot of queries. We are overwhelmed. What we will do is, please, regarding any queries for today's webinar, you can just email to yogendra@arnonetworks.com. And for any other general queries, please reach out to priyasi@arnonetworks.com. Yeah, I'm stopping the recording here, Yogan.
Okay.